My parents made me pay rent at 14 while my brothers lived free. So I left at 16, built an empire, and now they're renting from a property I own without knowing. Hit that subscribe button real quick and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always amazed by how far these stories reach. I was 14 years old when my mother slid an envelope across the breakfast table. Inside was an invoice. Rent, $400 monthly. Due date, the first of every month. My younger brothers, Robin and Devin, 11 and 9, sat there eating cereal like nothing was happening. My father didn't even look up from his newspaper. What is this? My voice cracked. I hadn't even started high school yet. You're old enough to contribute now, Connie, Mom said, sipping her coffee like she just asked me to take out the trash. You've got that job at the grocery store. Time to learn responsibility. My part-time bagging job paid $7.25 an hour. After taxes, I brought home maybe $600 a month, working every weekend and 3 evenings after school. They wanted 2/3 of it. But Robin and Devin don't pay anything. I looked at my brothers, who suddenly found their frosted flakes fascinating. Dad finally spoke. Boys need to focus on sports and school. You're different. You're capable. This builds character. His words felt like a slap. Different. Always different. The only girl. The darkest-skinned child. The one who looked like Dad's side. That night, I found Robin's new PlayStation 5 in the living room. $500. My first month's rent could have bought that. Instead, it bought my brother's fun while teaching me responsibility. I lay in my bedroom, the smallest room, the one that used to be a storage closet, and something inside me shifted. This wasn't about teaching me anything. This was about something darker I couldn't name yet. 3 months into paying rent, I discovered the truth by accident. I came home early from school, stomach bug, and found Mom on the phone in the kitchen. She didn't hear me come in. Girl, I know. But she's got that job money just sitting there. Why shouldn't it help with the house note? Mom laughed. Gary's truck payment was due. Plus, Devin needs new cleats for travel soccer. That's $300 right there. My rent wasn't teaching responsibility. It was subsidizing my brother's childhoods. I backed out silently, rage burning through my intestines worse than any stomach bug. That weekend, I picked up a second job at a dry cleaner. If they wanted to use me, I'd use myself better. I opened a bank account at a different bank than my parents used. They'd been monitoring my original savings account to teach me about finances. I watched them withdraw $200 once for emergencies. At school, I started staying late, using the library computers to research. Investing. Real estate. Business formation. My guidance counselor, Mrs. Madison, a black woman who always looked at me like she saw something, started giving me books. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The Millionaire Next Door. Your grades are exceptional, Connie, she said one day. What's happening at home? I almost told her. Almost. But foster care scared me more than my parents' financial abuse. Nothing, Mrs. Madison. Just planning my future. She nodded slowly. Good. Don't let anyone steal it from you. My 15th birthday fell on a Saturday. I woke up to Robin and Devin fighting over the last waffle. No decorations. No cake. No acknowledgement. I'd worked the night before, closing shift at the grocery store, and stumbled into bed at 11. Mom was at the stove. Your rent's due Monday. Don't forget. It's my birthday. The words escaped before I could stop them. So, bills don't care about birthdays. Welcome to adulthood. She cracked eggs into a pan for my brothers. That afternoon, they threw Devin a surprise party. He'd made the travel soccer team, the one my rent money helped fund. Aunts, uncles, cousins filled our backyard. Catered food. A cake shaped like a soccer ball. I watched from my bedroom window as Devon opened presents. New cleats, a training equipment set, a tablet, gift cards totaling probably $500. I'd gotten nothing. Not even happy birthday from my father. That night my Aunt Helen found me in the kitchen washing dishes. She pulled me into the pantry, her voice urgent and low. "Baby, I see what's happening here. Your mama's got some demons she's working through, taking them out on you. How much they charging you?" "400 a month." Tears finally came. "They make me pay rent. Robin and Devon don't pay anything." Aunt Helen's jaw clenched. "That's evil. That's pure evil." She pressed $200 into my hand. "Hide this. Don't tell anyone. You hear me? Start planning your exit." By 16 I was working 3 jobs: grocery store, dry cleaner, and weekend catering gigs. I slept 4 hours a night. My grades stayed perfect. Spite was a powerful motivator. Every dollar they didn't know about went into my secret account. I had $8,000 saved. Then Mom raised my rent to $600. "Inflation," she said simply. "You're making more now, so you pay more. That's how adult households work." Robin had just gotten a car for his 16th birthday. A used Honda Civic, but still, a car. I didn't even have my license yet because the classes cost money I was wasting on rent. "This is bullshit," I said. First time I'd ever cursed at her. She slapped me hard. My ear rang. "You ungrateful little," she caught herself. "After everything we've done for you. Roof over your head. Food in your belly. And this is the respect we get." Dad appeared in the doorway. "Pay the rent or get out, Connie. Simple as that." "She's 16, Gary," Mom said, but her tone was considering, not horrified. "So, she's practically grown. Working 3 jobs. Thinks she knows everything." He looked at me with something like disgust. "Maybe she needs to see how good she has it here." I touched my burning cheek. "You'd really kick me out?" "Pay your rent on time and we won't have to find out," he said. That night, I researched emancipation laws in our state. I needed to be 17 or prove abuse and neglect. Financial exploitation of a minor was fuzzy legally, especially when they provided housing. I was trapped for another year. Unless I showed up to school with a handprint on my face. Foundation couldn't quite cover it. Mrs. Madison called me to her office immediately. "Who did this?" Her voice was steel wrapped in velvet. I walked into a cabinet. The light tasted like ash. "Connie." She closed her office door. "I've been a guidance counselor for 23 years. I know what abuse looks like. I know what exploitation looks like. And I know you've been working yourself to death while maintaining a 4.0 GPA. Talk to me." So I did. Everything spilled out. The rent since 14, the double standard with my brothers, the escalation, the slap, the threat of homelessness. She listened without interrupting, her expression growing darker. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. "I can report this. CPS would investigate. They'd deny everything. It'd make it worse. I just need to survive 1 more year until I'm 17. Mrs. Madison pulled out her phone. "I'm calling my sister. Monique runs a youth program for displaced teens. She has connections with a transitional housing program for working minors seeking independence. It's designed for situations exactly like yours. You could move out legally, keep working, finish school. There's a spot available." My heart hammered. "Really? You'd need to go before a judge, explain your situation. With your work history, grades, and documentation of the rent payments. Bring bank statements. You'd have a strong case for early emancipation. Monique would sponsor you, provide character testimony." Hope felt dangerous. "When?" "Court date could be in 2 weeks if we move fast." I spent those 2 weeks gathering ammunition. Bank statements showing $400, then $600 monthly transfers to my parents. Pay stubs from all 3 jobs. Report cards. A written statement from my boss at the grocery store confirming I'd worked there since 14. Aunt Helen agreed to testify, furious when she learned they'd raised my rent. I documented everything in a Google Drive my parents couldn't access. Screenshots of text messages where Mom demanded rent. A recording from my phone left running in my pocket of Dad threatening to put me out if I was late with rent again. In our state, one-party consent made it legal. Robin accidentally helped. He told me, bragging that Mom had promised him $5,000 toward college. She's been saving from the household budget for years, he said. You know, being smart with money. My money. They were saving my money for his college. Devin was more oblivious, but even he noticed something. Why do you work so much? Mom says you're just greedy, but you never buy anything nice. Because I'm building something, I told him. Something they can't take from me. The hearing date arrived. My parents didn't know about it. You didn't need parental permission for an emancipation petition if you were alleging abuse or neglect. I told them I had a college visit that day. Mrs. Madison picked me up at 6 a.m. You ready for this? She asked. I looked at the folder in my lap, stuffed with evidence. I've been ready since I was 14. The judge, an older black woman named Honorable Denise Warren, reviewed everything with a careful eye. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. Just me, Mrs. Madison, Monique, Aunt Helen, and Judge Warren. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Judge Warren read through my petition silently. Then she looked up, her reading glasses catching the light. Ms. Williams, you're asking for emancipation at 16. Walk me through a typical week in your life. I told her. School Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 3 o'clock. Grocery store Monday, Wednesday, Friday nights until 9 o'clock. Dry cleaner Tuesday and Thursday evenings until 8 o'clock. Catering gigs all weekend, sometimes 12-hour shifts. Homework from 10 p.m. until midnight or later. 4 to 5 hours of sleep. Repeat. And your parents require you to pay rent from these earnings? Yes, Your Honor. $400 from ages 14 to 16. $600 for the last 3 months. That's roughly 75% of my income. My voice steadied as I spoke. Facts were safe. My 2 younger brothers pay nothing. They receive allowances, expensive gifts, and are promised college funds. My mother has told relatives she uses my rent money to pay for their extracurriculars and my father's truck payment. Judge Warren's jaw tightened. You have evidence of this? I submitted the bank statements, text messages, the recording. Aunt Helen testified about the birthday incident, her voice breaking. That baby works herself half to death while her brothers play video games. It's not right. It's never been right. Monique explained the transitional housing program. A safe apartment, supervision, continued school enrollment required, job coordination support. Connie would thrive with independence. She's already demonstrating exceptional maturity and financial responsibility under exploitative conditions. Judge Warren removed her glasses. Ms. Williams, do your parents know you're here? No, ma'am. They think I'm on a college visit. Why didn't you tell them? I swallowed hard. Because they'd stop me. My father threatened to kick me out when I questioned the rent increase. My mother slapped me. They'll say I'm lying, that I'm ungrateful. They'll make it sound like I'm the problem. Judge Warren granted my emancipation petition that day. Conditional. I had to maintain school enrollment, keep employed, check in with Monique monthly, and attend court-ordered family counseling if my parents agreed to it. But I was legally independent at 16. Your parents financially exploited you, Judge Warren said, her voice carrying weight. Charging a minor child excessive rent while providing free housing to their siblings demonstrates clear disparate treatment and potential economic abuse. You're released from their custody. This court wishes you success, Ms. Williams. I expect you'll go far. I moved into the transitional housing that weekend. A studio apartment in a converted house with 3 other emancipated teens. Small clean mine. The rent was $400 monthly, subsidized by the program, which felt cosmically ironic. Mrs. Madison and Monique helped me move my belongings in trash bags. I didn't have much. My parents hadn't bought me anything in 2 years. Mom called my phone 37 times that first day. Dad sent texts. Get your ass home. This is kidnapping. You're going to regret this. I responded once. I'm legally emancipated. I have the court order. Don't contact me again. Aunt Helen called, crying. Your mama is losing her mind. Talking about taking you to court, claiming you stole from them. She's telling everyone you ran away with some man. Let her talk, I said. I felt hollow but free. The truth is on record now. I kept working. Kept studying. Mrs. Madison connected me with a scholarship program for emancipated youth. I started taking college classes part-time at the community college, dual enrollment. Business administration. Real estate principles. Accounting. At 17, working full-time between high school and multiple jobs, I had $15,000 saved. My credit score was building. Mrs. Madison had taught me how. Graduation came. I walked across that stage with honors, scholarships totaling $40,000, and acceptance letters from 3 state universities. My parents didn't attend. Robin and Devin did, though, sitting in the back with Aunt Helen. Devin was crying. Robin looked ashamed. After the ceremony, Robin approached me. He was 18 now, headed to college on my former rent money. Connie, I'm sorry. I didn't understand what they were doing to you. I thought. You thought it was normal? I cut him off. That they'd charge your sister rent at 14 but buy you a car at 16? I was a kid. I just accepted it. So was I, Robin. I was a kid too. I just didn't get to be one. I walked away. Forgiveness wasn't in my vocabulary yet. I chose the state university 2 hours away. Far enough for distance, close enough to keep working my connections in the city. I kept the apartment through the program until I was 18, then moved into a tiny studio near campus. I worked through college. Resident assistant position for free housing, tutoring, a work-study job in the business department. My professors noticed me. One, Dr. Raymond Hughes, pulled me aside junior year. Connie, you're wasting your potential in entry-level jobs. I'm consulting on a real estate development project downtown. They need smart interns. Interested. That internship changed everything. I learned acquisition, development, property management, financing structures. I networked with investors, contractors, property managers. I absorbed everything like I was dying of thirst. At 22, I graduated with honors and a job offer from a commercial real estate firm. Salary, $65,000. I cried in my apartment. I'd never imagined that much money in 1 year. By 25, I'd saved $100,000 through aggressive saving and side hustles. I'd been flipping small residential properties with a partner I'd met at the firm. At 26, I bought my first rental property solo. A duplex in a gentrifying neighborhood. I knew the area. It was 3 blocks from where I'd grown up. Property values were climbing as young professionals moved in. I got it for $180,000, put $30,000 down, renovated 1 unit for $15,000, and rented both sides for $1,200 each. Cash flow. $800 monthly after mortgage, insurance and maintenance reserves. I reinvested every penny. By 28, I owned 4 properties. By 30, I had 12 units generating $8,000 monthly in cash flow. I kept working my corporate job for stability and benefits, but my real wealth was building in real estate. My company name was KW Properties LLC. Simple. Professional. No one needed to know the initials stood for Connie Williams, the girl who'd paid rent at 14. I'd seen my parents twice in those years, both times accidentally. Once at a grocery store. Mom tried to approach me. I walked away. Another time at Devon's college graduation. He'd invited me. We'd been texting occasionally. He was studying engineering and unlike Robin, he seemed to understand how badly they'd failed me. She asks about you, Devon said carefully. Mom, he's different now. Softer. She says she made mistakes. She stole my childhood and called it character building, I said. That's not a mistake, Devon. That's a choice. Robin I hadn't spoken to at all. He'd graduated, gotten a corporate job, got married. Living the life my rent money helped fund. At 32, a property came on the market that made me pause. A small house on the street where I grew up. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Run down, needed work, but the location was prime. The neighborhood had transformed completely. The crack houses of my childhood replaced with coffee shops and yoga studios. I bought it for $240,000 cash. Renovated it for $60,000. It was beautiful when finished. Hardwood floors, modern kitchen, landscaped yard. I listed it for rent at $2,100 monthly. My property manager, Sandra, called me 3 weeks after listing. I've got a really solid application for the Maple Street property. Couple both employed, excellent credit, great references. They're eager, offering first, last, and security deposit up front. Names. I asked, only half listening. I was reviewing documents for a commercial property acquisition. Gary and Florence Williams. The world stopped. My pen froze mid-signature. Connie, you there? Send me the application, I managed. I'll review it and let you know. My hands shook as I opened the email. There they were. My parents. Dad was 60 now, Mom 58. His employment. Retired, pension income $2,800 monthly. Her employment. Part-time home health aide $1,600 monthly. Combined income. $4,400 monthly. They'd listed their current address. Our apartment complex on the edge of town. Not the house I'd grown up in. I called Sandra back. What happened to their previous housing? They mentioned they were downsizing. Their previous landlord confirmed they'd been good tenants for 3 years. But that property was being sold, so they had to move. They need something in this school district. They're helping raise a grandchild, apparently. Robin's kid. He'd had a daughter 2 years ago. I'd seen the photos Devon sent. A beautiful little girl named Aaliyah. I sat with this information for 3 days. My therapist, yes, I'd been in therapy for years working through the damage, asked me what I wanted. I want them to know what it feels like, I said. To have no control. To be at someone else's mercy financially. And then what? Dr. Morrison asked gently. After they know? I didn't have an answer. I approved their application. They moved in on a Saturday in October. I watched from my car down the street as the moving truck unloaded their belongings. Mom looked older, her hair fully gray now. Dad moved stiffly, arthritis probably. Robin was there helping and Devon and little Aaliyah running around the yard. They didn't know the house belonged to me. The LLC was registered to my business attorney's address. Sandra handled all communications. The lease was signed electronically. They'd never seen my name on any documents. I'd been their landlord for 6 months when Sandra called again. The Williamses' rent is late. First time. Florence called very apologetic. Said they had unexpected medical bills for the granddaughter. She asked about a payment plan. This was my moment. I could evict. I could make their lives hell. I could reveal myself and watch their faces as they realized they were living in a house their daughter owned. The daughter they'd exploited. How late? I asked. 1 week. Rent was due the 1st. She's asking if they can pay half now and half by the 15th. Medical bills were $3,000. Aaliyah had to go to the ER. I thought about 14-year-old me handing over $400 while my brothers got PlayStations. I thought about my 16th birthday washing dishes while Devin got a party. I thought about the slap, the threats, the years of sleep deprivation. I also thought about Aaliyah. A little girl who had no part in any of this. Tell them yes, I said. Payment plan approved. No late fees this time. But document that it's a one-time courtesy. You're being very generous, Sandra said, surprised. I had a reputation for being strict but fair with tenants. I'm being strategic, I corrected. But that wasn't fully true. The truth was more complicated. I could destroy them, but I'd become someone who built things instead. Destruction was their legacy. Building was mine. Month 9 of their tenancy, the hot water heater died. Sandra called to authorize the replacement. It's a same-day emergency. The tenants are home. The plumber needs access, but I'm stuck across town at another property. Can you meet him there with the key? I could have said no. Should have said no. But some part of me, the part that had been waiting for this moment for 16 years, said yes. I pulled up to the house at 2 p.m. The plumber was already there. I unlocked the door and there she was. Mom standing in the kitchen that I'd renovated in the house that I owned. He stared at me confused. Can I help you? I'm here to let the plumber in for the water heater. I kept my voice neutral. Professional. Recognition dawned slowly. Her hand went to her mouth. Connie. The plumber's in the garage. Water heater's this way. I walked past her. Dad appeared from the hallway using a cane now. He stopped cold. What are you doing here? After the plumber started working, I stood in my living room. They sat on the couch looking fragile and old. This wasn't how I'd imagined it in my revenge fantasies. This is your house, Mom said finally. It wasn't a question. This is my house, I confirmed. One of 18 properties I own. Connie Williams is KW Properties. Dad's face went ashen. You've been our landlord for 9 months? Yes. You applied. You were qualified. I approved. I kept my tone businesslike even as my heart hammered. Your rent has been on time except once, which I accommodated. You've maintained the property well. You're good tenants. Mom started crying. Quiet, broken tears. I'm sorry. God, Connie, I'm so sorry. What we did to you. You charged me rent at 14, I interrupted. Raised it at 16. Threatened to kick me out. Used my money to fund Robin and Devin's childhoods while I worked myself half to death. I paid you approximately $28,800 over those years, not counting what you took from my first savings account. I'd done the math many times. That would be worth about $45,000 today with modest interest. Dad couldn't meet my eyes. We were wrong. You were worse than wrong. You were cruel. Deliberately, systematically cruel. To your own daughter. And when I left, you told everyone I ran away with a man. You tried to destroy my reputation. The words came out steady, factual. I'd practiced this speech in therapy. You nearly destroyed me. We know, Mom whispered. Devin told us about the emancipation, the court documents. We read what you said at the hearing. About the birthday. The slap. She broke down completely. I watched her cry and felt, not satisfaction. Not quite forgiveness either. Something complicated I couldn't name. Your lease is good for another 3 months, I said finally. After that you can renew or leave. Those are your options. I'll continue to be a fair landlord. I will not, however, be your daughter. That relationship ended when I was 16. You made that choice. I left before they could respond. Outside, my hands were shaking so badly I could barely start the car. I called Dr. Morrison from the driveway. I did it, I said. I told them. How do you feel? I sat with the question. Free, I said finally. For the first time since I was 14, I feel completely free. They stayed another year, paid every month on time. Mom tried to reach out twice. Cards on my birthday and Christmas. I didn't respond. Dad never tried at all. When their lease was up, Devin called me. They're moving to a senior living apartment. Cheaper, easier to maintain. Mom wanted me to tell you thank you. For not evicting them. For giving them a chance. She knows she doesn't deserve it. She's right, I said. She doesn't. But Aaliyah deserved a stable home. That's who I did it for. I'm 34 now. I own 23 properties worth approximately $6.2 million. My net worth is just over $2 million. I'm building an empire, not from privilege or family support, but from spite, determination, and a 14-year-old girl's refusal to accept that her worth was less than her brother's. My parents taught me responsibility, just not the way they intended. They taught me that the only person you can truly count on is yourself. That family can be chosen, not just born into. That success is possible even when the people who should support you actively sabotage you instead. I'm dating someone now, a kind man named Anthony who thinks my work ethic is admirable, not concerning. Aunt Helen and I have dinner monthly. Devin and I are rebuilding something careful and boundaried. Robin and I may never reconcile, and I'm okay with that. Last week I bought a commercial building downtown. I'm converting it into affordable housing for emancipated youth. Subsidized units, job training, mentorship. I'm calling it the Second Chapter House. Because everyone deserves a second chance at childhood, even if it comes later than it should. My parents made me pay rent at 14 while my brothers lived free. They thought they were teaching me responsibility. Instead, they taught me that I was worth less, deserved less, mattered less. They were wrong. I left at 16, built an empire from rage and determination, and became my parents' landlord without them knowing. The irony is poetic. The healing is ongoing. The success is undeniable. And every time I collect rent from one of my properties, I remember that 14-year-old girl handing over $400 with shaking hands. I remember her pain, her exhaustion, her resolve. I built this for her. All of this. She survived so I could thrive. And that's the greatest revenge of all. Not their suffering, but my absolute, undeniable, magnificent success.